Thank you, sir. Thank you for those kind words. And it's really an honor to share screen with you all stalwarts here. I'll be starting with my presentation. So even a patient who has posterior segment disorder, he does deserve a good refractive outcome after cataract surgery. Major challenges in patients with posterior segment diseases are many, and most important amongst them are the posterior staphyloma, the changing progressive axial length, VR surgery induced changes, and poor vision. A VR surgery itself induces changes in ocular milieu right from the ocular surface to the vitreous content. And after VR surgery, there is increase in axial length, there is shallowing of AC sometimes the haze in the media increases, the ERM or the recurrent RD associated with VR can lead to underestimation of axial length, and silicone oil poses a challenge due to the velocity attenuation. Even in these cases, given a choice, an optical biometry would be the method of choice here, but it is not always practically feasible. So main challenge lies not in the IL calculation, the challenge is about the calculation of axial length in these patients. The tear film may be disturbed in cases like post-scleral buckle, which leads to unreliable K readings, and it can be easily overcome by use of lubricants. In high myopia, the progressive change in the myopic refraction poses a challenge. Also, we should always keep in mind that the refractive prediction errors of different formulas, it decreases, the prediction power decreases as the axial length increases. Even in high myope, wherever is possible, an optical scan would be better than the acoustic scan. And if there are any confusions, you should always aim for an error towards the myopic side. And ULIP constants fare better than the constants given by the manufacturers, and these are available online free. Myopia poses challenge, and LASIK, it further complicates the biometric challenges because of the K reading changes. And as has been already discussed, patients should be thoroughly counseled about possible need for enhancement in form of surface ablation or sometimes an IOL exchange in such patients. RK, as has been already discussed, it has K reading stage, effective lens position is difficult to calculate, and there is hyperopic shift over time. In cases of retinal detachment with macula on and cataract, optical biometry would be still a preferable thing because the macula is on and you can get those scans easily. If not, B-scan guided scan should be way to go. And phaco-vitrectomy also itself induces myopia because of these following mechanisms. In cases of macula off retinal detachments, the optical scan is not easy to get because the macula is off. So you have to rely on the B scan, a combined AB scan biometry here. And you should always try to check it with the previous refraction, check your axial length assessment with previous refraction, and also check it with the other eye. One option would be to use optical biometry with user-assessed axial length, where manually the point is taken as the posterior spike, which the anterior spike is because of the detached retina. So go for the posterior spike here. Combined AB scan biometry is very useful in cases of detached macula as well as in staphyloma. So how do you do this AB scan biometry combined? You take a horizontal axial scan on B scan, put your A scan vector on the machine, and then pass the vector through the center of the cornea and the lens and to the point just beneath the optic nerve void here. This is just to show that in case of posterior staphyloma, how little change in the reference point creates very large differences in the axial length, and this might reflect in the IL power calculation later. Contact with silicone oil induces a cataract in almost 60 to 100% of cases over 2 weeks to 2 years. Optical biometry, wherever it is possible, should be done in these cases, and it definitely gives good results. And optical biometer has a inherent SO mode in the software. If not available, then A scan or combined AB scan can be done. On A scan, fewer machines do have SO mode, but if you do not have SO mode, what you have to do is you measure the axial length on your scan machine. You multiply it with the conversion factor of 0.71 if you have used a 1300 centistokes of silicon oil, and that gives you a calculated axial length. If you have used 1000 centistokes, multiply it by 0.64. Just to show how to change the velocity on the A scan, you change the velocity from 1550, which is a standard put over there, 987 for 1000 centistokes of silicon oil and 1133 for 1300 centistokes of silicon oil. This is on B scan, you measure the axial length and then you change the medium of tissue to silicon oil and the machine gives you the calculation. If not, use the formula that we have previously discussed. Using the contralateral eye for axial length or intra-op biometry is also one option. And two, you should always be open to two-step approach where you can put the IOL as a secondary procedure. This study shows in silicon field eyes, especially with axial length more than 23.63, IOL master, the lens staff fares better over the IOL master. It is presumed that the silicon oil fills the whole globe, which is not always a practical situation. It can be partially filled, in which case, in supine position, there is a large void in front of macula. But in sitting up position, only a small cup of fluid is present. So a sitting up position should be preferred. Also, this is again CT guided axial length. Buccal induces myopic shifts and do not do biometry before 3 months, and it takes 3 months to stabilize. In macular pathologies, macular thickening causes underestimation, go for optical biometry. Few cases we would like to discuss. This is a one-eyed patient with posterior staphyloma. So challenge is one eye, no other eye for comparison. A scan shows error, optical scan, B scan show good readings, and we go ahead with the calculation here. This second patient had RK marks apart from posterior staphyloma, so you have to use a topographic guided K readings to calculate IOL power. This patient has posterior staphyloma with aphakia. Always use, try to remember to put your aphakic modes on for this patient. This patient had RK and had undergone LASIK and was having a maculosphysis in his left eye. So watch out for the K readings, and if their axial lengths are underestimated, you have to cross-check it with all modalities. This patient had a partial retinal detachment with macula on, and as we already discussed, an optical scan helps a lot here. On B scan, you might sometimes err because of the detached macular spike. This patient had a total retinal detachment in one eye and the other eye was silicon filled. So A scan underestimated, no optical scan was available, only K readings were available. Only we could only rely on the B scan readings here. This patient, it was a one-eyed patient with iris coloboma and retinochoroidal coloboma involving the macula and nystagmus. So we cross-checked with all modalities, and the power was calculated. And as the white to white was very small, you should go for customized IOLs in such cases. Similarly, this another case who was having a severe microcornea in right eye as compared to the left eye. Right eye also had a retinochoroidal coloboma with macular involvement. Surprisingly, axial length was more in the right eye than the left eye. So we confirmed it on B scan also. And now watch out for the very flat K readings, very shallow AC and white to white as compared to the left eye. And the axial length is comparatively more in the right eye. So this denotes the relative anterior microphthalmos here, and the left eye was biometrically absolutely normal. This patient here, we have the other good eye for comparison. It is a SO field eye. So important thing is to measure the your calculations in SO field mode in all the machines. Similarly, this is a aphakia with SO field globe. AC depth cannot be calculated, and always remember to put both aphakic as well as silicon mode on here. This patient, apart from having aphakia and esophageal eye, had a very dense PCO. So optical scan was not available, and even the A scan could not help. You only have to rely on a B scan, which is also with SO adjustment done. If not, if you are not very sure about your calculations, then you should go for it. Another thing, another patient who was having myopic strabismus fixus. Myopic strabismus fixus makes it difficult to align the scans, and you only have the B scan to rely on, that to a SO field, with SO conversion. So in nutshell, there is no single machine of choice. You have to customize for every patient, cross-check with all the modalities available with you, and correlate your findings clinically as well as with the other eye, and counsel the patients very well for refractive surprises. This is a small flowchart that we have devised for our biometric cubicle. You may write to us if you want to use them. Thank you.